Welcome to the third ever RZFL XFL Podcast. We are live from New Zealand at the RZFL headquarters overseas. My name is RZFL Sports, your host, and fortunately we're not here with Nicholas Buckley Apps or John, so instead we're here with RZFL Bears. Instead, say what's up.
What's up, guys?
So we are going to be doing a Week 4 preview and a Week 3 recap on this podcast. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Subscribe to the main channel. Subscribe to RZFL Bears as well. Links will be in the description, and let's go ahead and get right into it in New Zealand. Now, a big reason why John and Nicholas Buckley Apps are not here is because Nicholas Buckley Apps did not take the plane ride over here. He just neglected it because of how badly we were going to torch him about Cardale Jones, his boy. But before we get into that, this podcast is sponsored by Nicholas Buckley Apps, coming at you with the greatest games of the century. Download Protect the Piggy or Jail Run today on the Google Play or App Store. How are we feeling about Cardale Jones?
I like him as a quarterback. In our video yesterday, we talked about him a lot. I think that he had some really good weeks, week 1 and 2, but week 3, I view it of him as an off game, but I really like his game.
So, Cardale Jones, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The Wildcats fell badly, the Wildcats won. The DC fell badly, 39-9 to the Wildcats. One of the most surprising games of the week.
Yeah, definitely. Watching the whole game, you could just see Cardale Jones looked off, like, the entire game, just overthrows, not just interceptions, but overthrows, just miscommunication.
Mr. Excitement with 3 touchdowns was pretty cool to watch. The Wildcats, Josh Johnson, he did his thing. He stayed calm, collective, cool, made some great passes. And, easy victory for the Wildcats. Our other games, we had the Battlehawks take on the New York Guardians, and the Battlehawks just whipped them completely. 29-9, wasn't even close ever. And we got to see the first ever kickoff return for a touchdown, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely like, NFL kickoff return for touchdowns. They're just plain returns, but I like that he pitched the ball back to the other guy. It was a really good design play by the special teams coach. It was just really cool to finally see one of those happen.
So that happened, and now this is going to be our first discussion. We saw Luis Perez get put in at the end of that game. He led the Guardians directly down the field and scored a touchdown. Who do you think should be the starter for this Guardians team going forward? Should it be My groin hurts? Should it be the Williams guy? Or should it be Luis Perez?
Luis Perez, I like him a lot over Matt McGloin in the other one. But, Matt McGloin, I just feel like, especially, even when they won on week 1, I know they're 1 and 2 right now, but even in the week 1 game, he still didn't look amazing. He had he had 2 or 3 good drives, but other than that, I just really didn't see too much out of him, so I definitely think that Matt McGloin is definitely not the right option forward.
Yeah, I think it's definitely Luis Perez, very good with the Birmingham Iron, your favorite AAF team, obviously. I felt like he should have been starting as soon as he was acquired from the Wildcats on trade. I felt like he was better than Matt My groin hurts, and I think he still is better. So there's that. Then we got our another game with the Dragons, my team, taking on the Dallas Renegades. The Dragons looked very good the first half. The Renegades pulled through. Landry Jones completed a double forward pass. The running game with Cameron Artis-Payne kicked off in the second half, and Dallas just ran away with the game at the end. My boy Marcel Frazier, Federal Frazier, getting a huge strip sack, though, almost putting the Dragons back in the game. Brandon Silvers has to play an entire, just got to play all 4 quarters, and that will get better. Now, onto your team and the best game of the week, Tampa Bay versus Houston. What are our thoughts on that one?
Everybody into the game was doubting the Vipers, and week 1, week 2, I saw that their offense was good. They just couldn't convert in the red zone, and that's exactly what happened again against Houston. I really liked the team. Their defense also played well, despite giving up 34 points. I just feel like the poor red zone offense is what cost them, because towards the end in the fourth quarter, they had an opportunity to score. If they scored a touchdown, that would have tied the game, and they could have potentially won the game. It's just the red zone issues just constantly being a pain for the Vipers.
Yeah, Houston balling out. Obviously, defense let up a lot of points. The Vipers definitely have a legit offense. Quarterback in coaching is kind of an issue. Obviously, it was an issue weeks 1 and 2. It remained an issue week 3. They don't really have a consistent, obviously they're using a 2-quarterback system, so it's not really good. It's hard to be consistent when you're using 2 quarterbacks, but they have a very good receiving core. They have a very good running back duo. I expect the Vipers to go ahead and get wins in the future and, just do stuff. So that's Cam Phillips, also got to talk about him. 194 yards, 3 touchdowns. Their show balled out, and I think he's the best receiver in the XFL. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, you just don't really see much other guys that have that much talent in the league.
If Nicholas Buckley he was here, he would disagree with me, and we'd have a fight right now. But he's not here. He is still in Canada, where our last podcast was taking place. We are live from New Zealand. This is the RZFL XFL Podcast, sponsored by Nicholas Buckley Apps. You are watching, coming at you with the greatest games of the century. Download, protect, piggy, or Jill Run today. Let's go ahead and get into our Week 4 matchups and our Week 4 picks. The first game of the week is going to be LA versus New York at 2 o'clock on Saturday. How are we feeling for this game?
LA struggled through the season weeks 1 and 2. I really liked their week 3 performance. Guardians, I did not like their week 3 performance, but I feel like LA played so great against the DC Defenders. I definitely have to go with LA in this game.
Now, I'm gonna have to agree with you here. LA the favorites. I'm gonna have to go with them, even though it's in New York. I picked the Guardians every single game this year because I'm an idiot. I'm a moron, and I was kind of trying to slide in last week, like low-key trying to slide in, get a nice upset win, but I thought that Guardians team that took on the Defenders was not the Guardians team we're going to see. That was the Guardians team we're going to see. So I think that Guardians team is going to return again, that we've been seeing the last couple weeks, not the week 1 team. I think LA is going to get the win here. They're cruising right now. Their defense is very good and underrated when it's getting put together now. I'm going to have to go with LA. And hold on a sec. Can we believe that Nicholas Buckley Apps put LA at number 8 on his power rankings last week? Are you kidding me, man? Okay, let's go ahead and get into our next game. The Dragons taking on the St. Louis Battlehawks in St. Louis, our second Saturday game. I'm going to go first with this one. And my pick is the Seattle Dragons. And before you turn this video off and dislike it, even though no one's even watching this far, we're going the Dragons because I'm a man on a mission. I'm a man of my team. I feel like this is my upset pick of the week, and I feel that I'm just gonna pick them until they win a game, honestly, but another game. But I feel like this is a possible upset. Defense could ball out as long as Brandon Silvers plays consistent. Who knows? I'm gonna pull ahead and get this game. I think I know your pick, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, I have the Battlehawks in this game. It's sad to disappoint you, but I just feel like the Seattle Dragons, I really love their defense, especially Frazier, talking about in your video.
Yeah,
I really love
Frazier.
the defense. I really just love the Dragons defense, but the offense, the quarterback struggles. Brandon Silvers hasn't been consistent, and there's a reason he didn't make the New York Jets team, is because he just wasn't good enough. I thought he would be pretty good in the XFL, but he just hasn't shown enough promise to beat this Battlehawks team that we're seeing today, which really played well last week. So I definitely will pick the Battlehawks in here.
So now we got the Houston Roughnecks taking on the Dallas Renegades, and I'm not sure how we feel about this game. 3-0 team taking on a 2-1 team. It's going to be a very good game. For some reason, this one's on FS1, but I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Yeah, I mean, you would like to pick the Renegades because the upset win, but I have Houston here just because I like their team. PJ Walker has been incredible, throwing 10 touchdown passes and only 1 interception this year. The Renegades, they show a lot of potential. They show a lot of talent, but Houston's just so good. Cam Phillips and PJ Walker, I just really like that team. They have a really impressive team, so yeah, I definitely going with Houston.
Okay, Nicholas Buckley Apps, I need you to listen up for me 1 second. I got 2 words right now for you. PJ Walker. I'm going with the Houston Roughnecks, the best team in the XFL, because they are better than the DC Defenders. I was right last week, okay? I'm just gonna keep pushing it down right now. I was right. The Roughnecks are the best team in the league. Why would I pick Dallas over them? Landry Jones is as an old man, not really, he kind of is limping around out there because of his injury. I feel like this Roughnecks defense is going to step up for the first time, and they're just not going to be able to handle P.J. Walker on the other side of the ball. Houston for this game. Now we got our last one. This one's going to be the most interesting, and I actually feel like me and RZFL Bears are the same pick on this one. DC versus Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. Now, I am a firm believer of this game that DC is still a very good team. Patrick Mahomes, Cardell Jones, is a very good quarterback still. But I've seen what the Vipers can do. I've seen what they're going to do. So obviously, I'm going to have to pick the DC. No, I'm picking the Tampa Bay Vipers on this one. Now, I'm not going to overthink the game last week. Even if the teams, let's say last week doesn't happen, I still kind of may pick Tampa Bay at home after I saw Tampa Bay's performance last week. This isn't because I saw DC's performance. I knew DC was not a legitimate team before, as I mentioned in the last podcast. And they were proved to not be a legitimate team. I know Tampa Bay can go ahead and get a win. I really like that receiving group. Reese Horn, very solid, his favorite player. You got Dan Williams, and then you got, who's the other guy?
Reese Horn?
No.
Oh.
17.
Oh, yeah. You have Jalen Tolliver.
Yeah, I'm stupid. He was on my CFL team. I forgot about him. Jalen Tolliver, very, very solid core. I feel like as long as quarterbacking isn't an issue, I see Tampa Bay at home because this game is in Tampa Bay getting the W. How do you feel?
Yeah, so basically, I really like the Vipers, as I talked about before. But, Aaron Murray, week 1, he just wasn't that good. And then our other quarterback, Quentin Flowers, I really like him. And then we have a third quarterback, Taylor Cornelius, who, was just reported that he will be starting week 4. I am a little bit disappointed about this because Taylor Cornelius, he has shown a lot of talent, but he's also shown a lot of negative stuff. I just really don't feel like he's the quarterback. I really love Quentin Flowers here, but he's running the ball too much. I feel like he should be throwing the ball more instead of running the ball. And he is a really good thrower, don't get me wrong. And I know the Defenders are a great team, and they do have a good defense. It's just that the Wildcats last week had a really great game. Cardell Jones is still really good. I think he is still good, and I think he will ball out against the Vipers. But I just feel like this Vipers offense has too much heat to not win this game.
Now we're going to hop into our power rankings to wrap this thing up. I'm going to go first. We're gonna alternate each team by team. At number 8, I got the New York Guardians because they're flat out terrible. And they can't do anything right. They got Mikael McKay. They have solid people on their defense like Jalen Summers, but together, they're just not a football team. As Soberman, their center, who literally got benched last week, would sum it up. He had 4 penalties on 1 drive. That just sums up their entire team. Just unorganized. That's I gotta put him 8. What's your 8 team?
Well, I hate to put my Vipers at 8, but I would also put the Guardians there. Not to copy you, but I just feel like even week 1 on their win, even though they won by 20, I just feel like they aren't really as good as people seem them to be. I just feel like the Guardians are kind of overrated, to be honest. Just not really that great. So, yeah, I'm going to put the Guardians at 8.
At 7, I got the Tampa Bay Butt Wipers. I just said that. Yes, we did. They have potential to move up. They're 0-3. That's what's keeping them back right now in the power rankings. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to put them at 7.
My 7 team. Now, here's a bold prediction here. Even though we lost to them, I put the Dragons at 7.
Okay, you trying to start a fight right now?
Yeah, we trying to
start a fight right now?
We trying to start a
fight.
fight.
Oh, really? He's pulling a Nicholas Buckley apps on us. Oh my goodness!
I put the Dragons at 7
really,
because
really,
I know that.
Really?
I know the Vipers have a quarterback problem, but I just don't like Brandon Silvers.
I can't believe you.
This is a quarterback game for the Vipers. I feel like even though the Dragons beat the Vipers, Dragons just didn't play well. Just the Vipers beat themselves. I'm putting the Dragons at 7.
At number 6, obviously the best team in the XFL. Not named Houston Roughnecks and not the other 5 teams before them. The Seattle Dragons, who are better than the Tampa Butt Wipers. Because the Dragons have a solid defense. I feel like I'm biased. I'm a fan. But like Marcel Frazier, Federal Frazier, and this defense with Steven Johnson on it, who leads all the XFL in tackles. We got solid secondary. I think that this team is 6. And I feel like we're going to march in St. Louis and get an upset victory. Who's your 6 seed?
All right, so now we're going with the Vipers ahead of the Dragons. 'Cause, yeah, you already know that they're better. But yeah, I
Garbage.
have the Vipers here because they are
Child's play, unbelievable.
they are 0-3. I do know that, but I still see a lot of potential in their defense. Right, you see they're 76.7 third down stop rate, which is number 2 in the XFL, which is really good. So I still feel like they have a good defense, and we're going to see a W coming up this week.
Okay, at number 5. At number 5, I'm gonna have to go with the LA Wildcats. And the reason why I'm keeping them this low, I know a lot of people would say they should be higher. I'm keeping them this low because I need to see a little bit more. I don't know if that was one game fluke or if they're actually good. I saw how good their defense played. I saw how good Josh Johnson played. But I want to see them do it again. And even if it's against New York, a team that isn't really that good, as long as they can do it again, I'm sold. But until they do it again, I'm keeping them at 5. Who's your 5?
Yeah, at 5, I would also like to put LA there because, they do only have 1 win. I really like their game, but, yeah, it's 1 week. We really honestly have to see another week for them to play well to really put them higher up, like you said.
Yeah. At number 4, we got the DC Patrick Mahomes. I mean, DC is slightly wider Rick Mahomes. DC Defenders, they're still a good team, but they're just, put them at 4. Because that's all I gotta say. Their defense needs work. It definitely needs work. Offensive-wise, they have a lot of playmakers on that team. We know what they could do. They're at 4. They could be 3. I don't know. And what's your 4 team?
My 4 team, I'm going to put the Dallas Renegades there. Reason being, I like them as a team. Just, yeah, I put them behind the other teams. I feel like the other teams have more talent than them. That's why I put the Dallas Renegades at the spot.
I'm going to go Dallas Renegades at 3 because of their run game and because Landry Jones can throw for yards and Donald Parham, their tight end. He's like 6'8" or whatever. He might even be taller than that. He's pretty tall. Probably is taller than that. He's a playmaker. I saw how much Landry Jones was throwing to him and their win over the Wildcats and against the Dragons. They just exposed the Dragons' defense and linebacker core and just throw it to him a couple times. He had 2 touchdowns. Cameron Artis-Payne is one of the best running backs in the game, if not the best running back in the XFL. And I feel like if they start giving him the ball in the first half, everyone will play better, including Landry Jones. And Dallas is just a good team, so we're picking Dallas here at 3. Your 3rd team, I assume, is the Defenders.
Yeah, I'm putting the Defenders at 3. I just feel like they are the 3rd team. It fits them really well. I believe they were 2 last week, but dropping them down to 3 is definitely good after they had a struggling week. Yeah, definitely.
Now we're just going to knock out 2 and 1 at the same time because I know for a fact we both have the same 2 and 1. Number 2, St. Louis, right?
Yeah, gotta agree on that.
Number 1, Houston, because P.J. Walker! Okay, Nicholas Buckley-Apps, if you're listening to this, still at home in Canada. We're in New Zealand right now, enjoying the time of our lives. Because you sat back and you didn't want to hear me talk about Cardale Jones. That will be for the next podcast. That's why I've held it back so much. But yeah, those are the top 2 teams. I mean, St. Louis obviously lost to Houston, so you can't put St. Louis over Houston. St. Louis has a great defense. They have a great offense. Houston has a great offense, a powerhouse of an offense. The Cam Phillips, P.J. Walker connection cannot be stopped. And that's just what I have to say.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning into the RZFL Podcast. Make sure to stay on here to watch more podcasts in the future.
Make sure you subscribe to the main account as well as this account and RZFL Bears account. And don't forget, this was sponsored by Nicholas Buckley Apps. Coming at you with the greatest games of the century. Download Protect the Piggy or Jail Run on the Google Play or App Stores today. This is the RZFL gang from New Zealand. Signing off. Bye, guys.
Bye.
18 minutes. Not bad.
Wait, are you going to edit it at all or not?